Alright, the slider hasn't got any oil grooves on any of the slideways on the tables, so I do want to put some oil grooves in. Now with a slider, it's not like you're cranking these tables up and down. They're largely static except when you're cutting a keyway and putting some depth in it. So that's possibly why they never had any oil ways in there, but I want to pop some oil ways in here and some feeder galleries into them. So we're going to do the zigzag arrangement. If you go and have a look at Max Grant's channel on his JFMT lathe where he did the oil grooves in his tailstock, very, very good example of how you do this. So I'm sort of jumping on Max's shoulders for this one. So we're going to cut the straight ones first, then we'll set up a parallel and clock off the line work that I've put in here. So I have laid these out, so that's going to be happening on both sides. And I've laid these out so that I've got around about 8 to 9 millimeters inside the slideways that made onto this, so we shouldn't have too much oil dripping out the sides. The only thing I might have to look at too are some way wipers on this as well, but we'll look at that at a later date. In the meantime, we're just going to come down. I've got I think it's a 3/16 ball mill in here, so we're going to drop down about 1.5 to 2 mil. We'll see how that looks. We'll cut across. I've already set my datums up that I'm working to, and I've clocked up the table as well. So she's pretty spot on. All right, let's see how we go. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 slots to cut, short slots to cut. Alright, that's 1 mil deep there. I'm happy with that. I'm going to leave it at 1 mil. Alright, all done. We'll set up for the angle ones now and get them cut in, and then we'll move on to the other side. Alright, I've got this set up parallel with my line work. About 0.01, a couple of tenths of a thou, so I'm going to leave it at that. I'll lock all this down, and we'll come back and get set up ready to cut those grooves, angle grooves. Oh no, so that should just about be our 0 point. Let's see how we go. Alright, first zigzag cut. Beautiful. All right, I'll do the last one off camera, and I'll bring you back to show you what the final result is. All right, that's the final result. and I'm very, very happy with that. It's come up beautifully. When I do the porting, it's going to have to be in here. I'm going to try and get in as far as I can and sort of pick up around here. Got a long series drill, a 5mm long series drill, so we can get it in there. And I'll put an oiler in here as well. Alright, it's like standing in front of a furnace here at the moment. It is so hot. I'm gonna pack it in and go inside and have a beer because yeah, I've just got the sweat dripping off me at the moment. Alright guys, we'll come back when it's cooler and we'll finish it. Alright, so that's the oil grooves cut into the gib side, so obviously up in here is where the gib sits, so we don't obviously cut into there. I'm very, very happy with that. It is brilliant. Alright, as I said, I need to start looking at drilling up inside. We're meeting around about here or here for the oil way to come in. But we'll do that another day. Alright guys, we'll see you then. Alright, before I take this off, I've just done some flaking, or fleckling as I call it, with the scraper, just to create some oil retention pockets in those slideways. So I'm just going to go through and stone those off now, and we're done. Okay, we're going to put the crossfeed oil hole into this, which is going to pick up around about here. This is where we're going to drill through so the oil can run down our grooves, and I'm going to fit one of these little oilers in the front face here. So I'm going to drill down just over half the thickness of the material, then we're going to come in with a long series drill and we're going to cross port into it. I've got this zeroed up now, so we'll get started. Right, while I've got the datum set up on my Digi readout, I'm going to set up my horizontal head on this. We'll do the cross port, and I've got to move the ram out to get my distance to get the second one on the other side. So we'll get that vertical or that horizontal head set up now. Let's see how we go. Okay, this is my vertical head that I mount onto the Bridgeport quill, and to get the alignment on this, or to get it fairly close, I always pop in one of my tenon blocks and just crank the table, and as you can see, it pulls it in pretty square. So that's my starting point. Now I'll set up the dial indicator, clock across that that face. So you can see there's a datum face that's machined into, or it's cast into the actual part, and then it's machined. There's one of these on both sides of the head. So we'll get this into position, I'll get this clocked up, we'll get it into position, and we'll start doing the cross drilling. Alright, we've got this all trued up on the vertical head. I've gone back to my datum point that I used to drill the initial hole, and pop the long series drill in just to make sure that it is going to mate up, and yeah, it's pretty spot on. So what I will do is go in with a standard drill first, and then we'll lengthen that or deepen that with the long series. I'm going to go down 8.5 millimeters from this datum, because this section here where I'm going to be drilling into is quite a bit thinner than this section here. So I've had to come up a little bit, so I just can't take that measurement there and split it in half. I'm actually going to run into open up into that cavity. So 8.5 millimeters will just clear and give us enough room to be able to get an oiler into there as well. Alright, I'll get set up with the center drill and we'll start this procedure. Ready to go in, so we'll get the center drill in and we'll see how we go. One thing I hate about using this particular head for drilling is you have absolutely no feel. No feel whatsoever whether your drill's binding up or it's finding it difficult to get through because you've got so much mass that you're moving on this table. So we've just got to take it very, very easy. Righto, I'll swap over for the long series and we'll drill to depth. Alright, I've got the long series drill on there now. I'm actually going to have to drill past the flutes, so we will be retracting to eject the chips and coming back in again. My zero datum point that I come up to is just shy of the E32 collet. Right, we should be coming up fairly close to coming into that hole now. And we're into it. Righto, let's just blow some air into it and hopefully we'll see air coming out the top. Now I think I may have gone a little bit too deep with this one because I can hear air blowing out the bottom, so I'm going to have to put a small plug into that and cap that off, which is no issue, but yeah, I need that little cavity, but we'll get that sorted out. Alright, we're just drilling in for the oiler now. I've already put a pilot through just to open it up, and we're going to open it up with a 6mm drill now. It's going to go 6.2 deep. Right, there we go. That would have just cleaned it up from the little pilot drill that I put through. All right, let's get set up for this other side now, and get the holes put in for that one, and I will make sure I don't break through on this one. All right, let's have a look at where we've broken through. Right here, and just through here. Now, if you have a look at this, this is machined down on a taper, obviously to let chips and oil and stuff run out. So that's something I didn't pick, and it's really screwed me up on my depths. Ah, dear me. All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to rough this surface up with a burr, so I want to give it a good clean with a burr. I'm going to fit a bit of JB Weld in there. Now, I've done this before with JB Weld, where I've broken through, and it works very, very well. So I'll get this cleaned up, and we'll get this plugged up, and then we'll pressure test it. As I said, it's not only huge pressure, it's only oil that's going in there, so there will be a little bit of pressure from the pump and the can, but I think we can get this, I think we can sort this out. Alright, I've opened the holes up a little bit from this back end here, and what I've put inside there is a little plug of Delrin I machined up, so that will keep the hole clear. And I've done that on both of them, so that's got a little plug of Delrin in it as well. What I've also made up is these little formers that I'll fit in there like that. And I can just hold it in with a bit of weight and pour in the epoxy. We'll see how we go. I think that should do it nicely, actually. Alright, well, I'll get the stuff mixed up and we'll get it into place, and I'll bring you back and let you know how it looks. Alright guys, so that's how my little repair worked out. I'm very, very happy with that. It should work well. Alright, I'll give that overnight to go off, and then I'll clean it all up. Alright, that's been a couple of hours now. It states after about 40 minutes at 30 degrees. Well, it's been 40 degrees up until 6 o'clock tonight. It's been absolutely horrendously hot. So it looks like some more storms on the way. We had some rippers last night, a lot of trees brought down, and I was up most of the night sweeping water away from our front door so we didn't get flooded. So yeah. Alright, what I'm going to do is pop this up and away at the table, and we're going to put some air on it and see how we go. I think it's going to be fine though. Okay, you can see those little Delrin plugs, so I'll just... That's one out. That's number 2 out. Alright, I'll go and get the compressor fired up in here, and we'll see what eventuates. Righto, let's give it a go. That feels really good. Righto, next job I want to do is have a look at lubricating this dovetail down through here. So what I'm going to do is drill into the front. Now there's a cavity in here at the moment. Drill into the front where we can get our oiler. Plastic tube from there around and in. So what I'm going to have to do is get a long series drill, and I've ordered an extra long series drill that I can go all the way through. What I'll also have to do is there's a machine pad in here that I'm going to have to relieve back to give me a little bit of room so that I can tap a hole in here and get that oil into a groove in the dovetail slide there. This one here is going to be a little bit easier because that's the removable dovetail slide. So that one there we can very simply just drill up into the end of that, and then out into the wearing face or sliding face, and then I'll cut a zigzag into this to distribute that oil around. Now the other thing I want to have a look at trying to do is that this did not have a table lock on it. So what I'm thinking of doing is when we take up the gib and we get the gapping just right, I'm not going to put the bolt into here. Instead I'm going to run a shaft through here, threaded into this body here, that I can just rotate and it will impinge, and we're going to get a little bit of flexure out of that which will lock that in place. So that's the plan there. We'll see how that all goes. Alright, well, I've had enough tonight. It's at 6 o'clock it was still 40 degrees, so very hot today, but I wanted to get this done and dusted, and we certainly achieved that. These will be the oilers that will be going into place there. Only small ones, but we don't need an awful lot of oil on here. But that'll be heaps. Actually, I'll fit all these together once we've finished all the machining on this table.